Well. Welcome to the special interview. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bama Standard's not the only one that brings out the Alabama legends. Here in the CTS, they can show up anywhere. And ladies and gentlemen, I got the one, the only, very inspiring story. Ladies and gentlemen, I say ladies and gentlemen one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Glen Coffee Jr. Glen Coffee, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. Man, I cannot believe this. You know, I was still remember in 2008 for the first time beating Auburn. I was in Oxford, Alabama for the first time in 6 years. We're going to talk about because damn it, you're a legend.
Man, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to take being called a legend, but I'm just glad I had the opportunity to play at Bama, man, and play for fans who really care about their team. Because not everybody who's played in college football can say that, you know.
Let's start talking about your childhood, man. Where are you from?
Fort Walton Beach, Florida.
Oh, you're a Florida boy.
Yeah.
Oh, by the beach?
Yeah, by the beach.
Oh, golly. Well, now, let me ask you this. You from Florida. Why didn't you go to Florida or Florida State or Miami?
Man, to be honest, I never cared about my grades. Never cared about school. And my senior year, I was one grade away from having to go JUCO. And it scared off a lot of the programs, you know. I wasn't like, 5-star recruit or nothing like that, but I was ranked, I want to say 27th in the nation. I was a 3-star. And so I believe if my grades were decent that I would have got offered from Florida or Florida State or Miami, but I didn't. And that's where I wanted to go. I wanted to go to one of the big three. And when Alabama offered me, I jumped on it right away because I knew that if I was able to play for any SEC team and do good, that I would have my best chance at getting into the NFL, you know, because all the GMs in the league know and all the coaches know that there is no tougher conference in the SEC. So if you can ball in the SEC, you have the best chance of getting into the NFL. So that's kind of how I looked at it. To be honest, I wasn't really stoked on going to Alabama because my pride was hurt. Because like you said, I'm a Florida boy. But obviously in the end, it worked out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at it. I mean, now, you know, it's kind of heartbreaking to hear that, you know. It's like, why did you say that? Like, I don't understand.
Everybody can't be like a day one Bama fan, though, you know.
Hey, I understand you want to play with Tebow. I got you.
No.
I understand.
That wasn't it. No. But yeah.
It's cool. You almost made Tebow cry that year. We'll get to that in a minute. The following year, you know, unfortunately, you was already in NFL, but so where did your love for football start?
When I was about three something, we moved to Saudi Arabia. And in Saudi, there is no organized football. You can only play in the streets. And I actually soccer was my first love. But on the compound, you know, the neighborhood that you grow up in over there, like all we played was tackle football. And so that's where my love began. You know, before I could even put on pads, I knew I wanted to be a football player. And so that's where it started.
Oh, what would you do in Saudi Arabia?
My dad worked for a company called McDonnell Douglas. They got bought out by Boeing. But he worked for McDonnell Douglas, and he was kind of like a mechanic on jets and stuff like that. And so that's how we ended up over there. He was contracted over there.
So what was life like in Saudi Arabia?
Man, crazy. I don't think I could have had a better childhood as far as like kids, because on a compound is like a giant neighborhood with high walls. And so at any given time, there's like 50 kids running around, you know? So when we played manhunt, it was serious, you know, we took it serious. And like, because it was all Americans on the compound itself, all the parents trusted each other. So I was 7 years old if I didn't have school, we would be out till 11 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like what you think of like an old village back in the day. I assume that's kind of how my childhood was like. So it was dope.
You know, it's been well documented that you dealt with depression and you dealt with even suicidal thoughts. You know, explain to the audience where that all came from. I mean, you know, I deal with a lot of, you know, I deal with my own personal stuff, you know, with anxiety attacks. And so I know a little bit about a little bit, but, you know,
Yeah.
depression has always been something very tricky with me. Explain to people what you was going through during that time.
To get into details, I would have to out some people that I don't really want to out. But I'll put it this way. If you're growing up and your family situation brings about certain traumatic experiences and trauma and all types of pain and anguish as a kid, chances are you're going to deal with it as an adult. And chances are you're going to portray some of those things that happened to you onto your own children, you know? And so that kind of paints a picture in that aspect. Just not a whole lot of love, man. And some things happen that will kind of make you scratch your head, you know? And so I kind of grew up without feeling like I had anybody to talk to. And a lot of things that I experienced, I couldn't get it off my chest, and I just had to kind of try to own it. And, you know, as humans, we try to do things and we think we're fine, but then you don't see the own faults in yourself. You know, other people might see it, but it's very hard for you to see. And the only thing I could say that got me out of that, man, was God, man. Before I even knew who Christ was, you know, all I can say was that He plucked me out of that situation and plucked me out of that despair and out of that anguish. And yeah, I'm in a way I'm thankful for it, you know, because the Bible says that trials and tribulations build character. You know, think about somebody you've seen who's never struggled in their life. You know, their parents are well off. They never had to worry about anything. Everything was handed to them. Everything was given to them. They smell a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Like you meet somebody who's never been through any struggle in their life, and they're just different, and not in a good way. I grew up a nerd. I just happened to be athletic. Go ahead.
I know some types like that.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna say I never like had love for football and stuff like that, but yeah, I just wanted to play football. I didn't really have a school that I necessarily wanted to go to. I actually love Cadillac and Ronnie. All right.
All right, all right, cancel this interview. Over. This is over.
But look.
Hell with this interview.
But so like for me, I just knew like if I was going to play in the NFL, I could have played at Memphis. I could have played at Southern Miss. It ain't matter. Like I was going to put the work in to do what I needed to do, you know? So me coming to Bama, okay, I'll take that back. When I came and I visited the school and saw what it was about, I was wild. There was a wow factor, you know, regardless of coming off of probation, regardless of not being, you know, a dominant team within the college ranks. When I came, I realized it was something special. I will say that much.
Yeah. You talking about the parties, right?
Not even. I knew it was no joke, bro. I knew Alabama football was no joke when I came.
I knew, you know, I knew Auburn through some parties. I went to a couple of parties in Auburn.
Yeah.
And I even in Athens. And yeah. If you really, I shouldn't tell nobody this, but if you're under 18, turn your head, watch something else. But yeah, if you was going to school today, if you really, really wanted to party, I sound so old, want to party, you probably want to go to Athens, go to University of Georgia. because damn,
Yeah.
they don't even know what an ID is.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure in Tuscaloosa they took care of the football players. Or no comment.
Yeah. I mean, whatever you want to take care of to be considered, yeah, they do.
Well, hey, let's simmer down. I don't want my show to be the one, like Alabama's on 20-year probation, because I will tell you a story, because I've said it so many stories so many times where it's not even funny no more. But it's not even my story. I'm a private investigator.
Right.
And one of the first people I ever worked with played defensive tackle for Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And Tommy Tuberville was the head coach during that time.
Yeah.
Actually, he was his senior year. Tommy Tuberville just came in. Anyway, when he came as a freshman, one of the guys came. No, let me tell you this story right here. So Mississippi State heard about him, committing to Ole Miss. So the recruiter come up there and said to him, he was like, "Hey, we'll give you whatever Ole Miss is giving you, plus." And David looked at him and said, "What, a scholarship?" Like, David was, if you ever met David, I got to call up guy. I hadn't talked to him in a while, but if you know David is so like frank, like he's like straightforward. He'll tell you the way it is. Like, you can't beat around the bush with David.
Right.
And David didn't know anything about I'm sure he was playing stupid. Like, I can assume, but David was just like, "What, a scholarship? Like, you gonna give me 2 scholarships?" Like, what? But a lot of people left Alabama when Nick Saban came in. How did you adjust to his discipline mindset? When did you know that the 2018 was the start of something special?
Well, as far as me adjusting, I'm a very black and white person. I'm very cut and dry. So I'm gonna adapt to whatever situation I'm in. And like if you're like a person who tells a lot of jokes, 90% of them are gonna go over my head. But like, so when Saban came in and he said what he had to say, I picked up on all of it, because it's very you can't really, it's very simple. Dominate your box. You know what I'm saying? Control what you can control, like stuff like that. So whenever he spoke, I knew exactly where he was coming from, and I knew exactly what he was trying to convey to the team. So it was pretty simple as far as being disciplined, because I was one of those players who didn't really make many mistakes. And if I did make a mistake, I didn't make it again. And what was the second part to that question?
Well, when did you know the 2018 was the start of something special?
I don't think we really knew before the season, but it's funny because when Saban first got there, he would say things, and it had a lot of bravado behind it. You know what I'm saying? But yet we went 7-6. But even after going 7-6, we still had the same faith in him that we did when he first arrived. Because before he arrived, everybody was talking like, "Oh, Nick Saban is coming. Nick Saban is coming." And we went 7-6, and we still had the same enthusiasm that we did before the season. And so after the Clemson game, the second year, I think is when we realized, like, okay, we already believed what he was saying. But after that game, we was like, all right, let's go ahead and, like, if we were 99% bought in, after that, we was 100% bought in.
Yeah, I still remember to this day watching the beginning of the 2008 football season. Julio Jones' first game. Who is this kid? Number 8. Everybody was drooling over. I remember I was actually I think I was in Gadsden, Alabama. I was at this girl's house that I dated. I was at her parents' house. I was actually meeting her father for the first time.
Yeah.
And me being me, I wanted to watch Alabama and Clemson. I'm trying to, talk. And he was watching. He didn't care about me. He wanted to watch the game.
Yeah.
If we knew after, Nick Saban being there, I assumed that we was going to have maybe 1 or 2 championships, and Nick Saban probably was going to go back to the NFL or find another, coaching job that's going to pay millions of dollars. Because at the time, I thought he was a money coach. I mean, that was my perception of him.
Yeah.
So to see what he has done today is unprecedented. And I still remember, watching your offense in 2008 and watching you and watching Mark Ingram, a young Mark Ingram, watching a young freshman Julio Jones. I mean, y'all was something serious and y'all went undefeated. But, go ahead.
No, I was going to say until the SEC championship, but yeah.
Yeah, that was a heartbreaker, but I had fun that night. I spent a lot in 2008. I spent a lot of time in Oxford and in Anniston. That I had a lot of fun back in those days.
Yeah.
But that leads me to my next question. The media talks a lot about Mark Ingram, Trent Richardson, Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, and others. But you started the successful trend at running back under Saban. Who did you pattern your game after?
Well, a part of it, I don't know if you remember, like before my last season at Bama, I was at best average running back. Even that year before that, at the beginning of the season before that year, before my last year there, I ended up being third string. But a couple of things happened. One, Mark Ingram showed up, and by the end of that year, I was penciled in as a starter, and then, Mark shows up, and I realized he was something special. And there was something inside of me that said there was no way he was going to let a freshman take your job. Another thing happened is I found Christ about that time before that, my last season there. And I decided that if somebody was trying to tackle me, if somebody was trying to stop me from gaining yards and touchdowns, that they was trying to stop me they was trying to hold back my ministry, because I figured that if I could create a name for myself, I could talk about Jesus as much as I could whenever I got interviewed. But to answer your question, as far as patterning my game after, we had this guy who was working with on staff, and he would talk to the players. And one day he sat me down and he said, "I want you to watch something." And it was a highlight video of Darren McFadden. And we were watching the video, and he looked at me. He said, "What do you see?" And I'm looking. And I don't know if he said it or I don't know if I said it first, but the words were "no hesitation." And I realized that when Darren got the ball and he decided he was going to hit a hole, or if he saw a lane, he was hitting it with no hesitation, no matter what was in front of him, no matter what he thought was going to happen. He was full tail boogie, right? And when I saw that, I said, you know what? That's one thing I can change. I can't necessarily get faster in the offseason. I mean, you can, but not that much faster. You can't necessarily get that much stronger. But one thing I can do is change this up here. One thing I can do is change my mentality. And so if somebody asked me that question, who did I pattern my game after, I would have to say Darren McFadden.
Wow. That was deep.
It's the truth.
We got to talk about it, man. Alabama did not win the national championship in 2008. Y'all lost to Florida in the SEC championship, and then y'all lost to Utah in the bowl game. But you did something very special that year in 2008. After 6 years, you defeated Auburn.
Yeah.
I was happy. And a lot of players that I talked to that played for the University of Alabama says, hey, look, it's a fan thing. But you being from Florida, I'm pretty confident that it probably wasn't that big of a deal for you. But I'm assuming. So I'm going to hear it from your mouth. How did it feel being the first team in 6 years to beat the University of Auburn in football?
Well, You know, you talking to a guy, and this is the truth when I tell you this. If we was playing a team in week 6, I would have knew who we had week 7. Like that's how, and that's not just a knock on football. That's not a knock on Alabama or anything like that. I'm just aloof like that, man. I'm just that's just how I rock. But that game, I understood legacy. You know, I did not want to go out never beating Auburn. Not in a million years. You know, so not only the fact that we beat them, but the fact that I was one of the reasons that we beat them, it affected me in a way that I didn't think it would affect me. Like before that game, I wanted to beat Auburn, but after beating them, I was like, damn, that was pretty cool. You know, like I don't think I'll ever forget that for the rest of my life. That's actually my favorite game that I've ever played in.
It was my favorite game too.
Yeah,
I remember, man, I was drunk. We went, have you ever been to Oxford, Alabama?
nah.
No, it's okay, town. But it was a girl I was dating. We went to the mall across the street from this restaurant they called Ricky's. It was a sports bar. It's now closed down or whatever, but it was like a Hooters meets Buffalo Wild Wings. And I went there, and they even had a Florida fan that was there, and he was a cool guy. And of course, we saw him the following week. But I remember going to the mall, calling all my relatives, tears in my eyes, like so happy that we finally beat Auburn. Like this is the greatest thing ever. Like you couldn't ask for anything else from sports than that day. That after that, because it was 6 years. Yeah, you know how Auburn fan. How much time did you ever spend in Alabama?
I mean, besides going to school there, not much. But I mean, when you play at Bama, when you're there for 4 years, you got a pretty good grasp on how things are.
So you know how bad Auburn fans are.
Yeah.
I mean, they talk so much trash, and they just bad human beings, and I don't like them. And just to watch them just talking their nonsense, and then we beat them the next year, and then they paid Cam Newton to come, and it's like, well, hey, look, to see what we have done, they mad because they never could top this level of success. No school can. You're never gonna see what your team has started. It started with your team. Right. I mean, something you should be proud of. But we got to move on. You got drafted. San Francisco 49ers. You started right behind Frank Gore. Your first season in the NFL. First thing I want to ask you is, somebody like me who's never played at the top level, never played at college, never played in the NFL. As a kid, that was like my biggest dream to play in the NFL. Unfortunately, I didn't have talent. 2, I didn't have skill. I was missing a lot of stuff. Okay. So what was it like stepping on the field for the first time as a San Francisco 49er?
Man, by that time, I didn't want to play football anymore. I don't know if you remember, but I still had a year left that I could have stayed at Bama. But I didn't want to play football anymore. But I felt like in my head, I was thinking like, who could turn down the NFL? Who can do that? And so that's the reason why I left early, because I didn't want to play anymore. So I figured if I got paid to play, I could tolerate football. So for me, stepping into the stadium for the first time was not really a feeling of excitement. It was more of let's get this over with.
Well, I mean, it's been times where I didn't have the love for something and I didn't want to do it. And that's why I said in the beginning that you did something, you did it the right way. You lost the love for something, and then you was just like, you know what? I want to try something else.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I don't know if I would call it the right way because, for one, I was under contract. And I mean, I gave them my word that I would be there for a certain amount of years, and I didn't do that. And two, I took the easy route and just put it on God. Like, oh, God has my heart in other places, which I'm not saying is a lie, but like, I felt like I should have just said I didn't want to play football anymore and just left it at that.
Oh, let me ask you this, Glenn. Was you happy at playing in San Francisco?
No, not at all.
So as a man, you made a decision that, hey, I don't want to play no more.
Yeah.
I respect that. I don't excuse my language, but that.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do something, why do it? Why do it? Life's too short. People don't understand. Life is too short.
Right.
You got to be happy.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I as personally for me, like with Michael Vick's situation, I was like, why would you do something like that? When he went to prison, why would you give up all the greatness that you have just to do something stupid?
Yeah.
That's one thing. Your situation was a little different. You just did not love football, and you use it like, hey, look, I don't want to play no more, and you went out on top. That's another thing you can think about too. That it's not like you sucked. You was a very good football player.
Yeah.
You was behind Frank Gore, who's got a future Hall of Famer, but I mean, it's not like you didn't run very, very fast for the San Francisco 49ers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you made an imprint. I think they were maybe a little angry that you left, but hell, if I wasn't happy, I would leave too. So kudos. So I don't think anybody's mad at you about that. Maybe some 49er fans, but nobody likes 49er fans. Rise up. Anyway, I'm a Falcon fan. What can I tell you?
I got you.
So after the NFL, you went to what exactly did you do after the NFL? You went to the service in 2013. So your last season is 2010. What did you do? Just play with your money?
Yeah. Well, yes and no. I had given away, before I quit, I had probably given away a third of my money I made in the NFL. Again, just from not caring about anything really. If I could say that's the biggest, like, I don't want to say mistake or regret because of the decisions I made and the things I've done, I am the man I am today. And I realized that I wasn't who I thought I was. But there's one thing I can say about my life that I know is something I have to work on daily and consistently is I am so indifferent about everything. Like, man, you could, like, somebody could knock on my door and be like, I'm about to give you $2 million. And the first thing that had to be in my head is like, man, that's going to be a lot of problems. Maybe not so much now at 33, about to be 34, but like, I wouldn't necessarily be happy. I would just be like, all right, what am I going to do with this? You know what I'm saying?
First thing you do, you call me. You call me up and we can work something out. I'll show you what you can do.
Yeah.
But it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you. But I can help you.
But yeah, dang, I got lost, man. I went off on a tangent.
No, go ahead. Continue.
What was we talking about doing?
The money.
The money. Well, I was talking about the money, but what were you talking about before then?
How I was going to help you.
No, before that,
I was going to help you with that $2 million that was going to knock on your door. I promise you I would. I was going to ask for $20 before we got out the interview.
What the heck? So I had too much pride to get a regular job, which is crazy. But like, so I pretty much just sat around on my money. And then I had this thought finally, after a couple of years, I was like, all right, I got to do something. I got to do something. Like at this point, I had taken some lumps and I knew that I wasn't living up to whatever potential God had created me for. So I said I had to do something. And so I eventually found myself in the military.
And that leads me to my next question right there. I mean, being the man of service, you chose to serve your country as a paratrooper. What was that experience like, and how did it develop you as a man?
Honestly, man, I ain't ever get in trouble in the military. That's why, like, when people talk about me, like, I know that my name, in a lot of circles, is held in high esteem, but in some circles, is not held in high esteem. And so in the military, I was still, you talk about depression and suicide and stuff like that. I was still dealing with a lot of that. And I'm not trying to use it as an excuse, but yeah, my service in the military was not what people think it was, and it wasn't what I wanted it to be. It was when I realized, like, I really got some things to work on as far as Glen Coffee as a person, you know. And the second part of that question, I learned a lot, man. Before the military, I don't think I ever hugged. Like, I don't remember ever hugging a male. I don't think I ever remember hugging a dude. But after the military, I was a different person because, when you're in the team environment, as far as sports are concerned, you're used to, like, being around athletic teammates. Your other football players, your other basketball players, your other baseball players. The military is a whole different thing. I don't know how to fully explain it, but it's a whole different thing. And so the things I went through in the military with my buddies and my other service members, it was on a whole nother level as far as camaraderie, as far as because in that world, somebody might not be athletic. They might not like the things you like. They might not used to be doing the things that you do. When as far as an athletic world, it's kind of like everybody's kind of used to doing the same thing. Everybody was kind of brought up hearing the same things. The military is not like that. It's totally opposite. You have no clue where somebody's coming from. And being forced to be in the same position, the same barracks, the same training missions, the same this, that, and the third with, like, complete strangers, it changes you as a person in a positive way.
The perception always been that you were Pat Tillman. That's always been the perception that, I still remember looking on social media and talking about this man, Glen Coffee, quit a multi-million-dollar contract to go into the military. Yeah. The story, the myth was that you gave up millions and millions of dollars to serve your country. So that's always been the myth, and that's always been the story kind of on social media.
Right.
However, let's get back to reality. Was you happy in the military?
Considering, yes. Like I touched on it. A lot of the issues I had in the military was me fighting my own issues. But, like, in a way, the military saved me. Mm-hmm. Because it was the first time in my life that I started talking about my problems to anybody.
Right.
And I can only credit the military with that. And when I say the military, I'm not talking about big army. I'm not talking about the United States, U.S. Army. Like, I'm talking about the people. When I say military, I'm not talking about tanks and jets and bullets and Afghanistan. I'm talking about the people. I'm talking about the people in the military.
What's so important about the people in the military?
They was willing to put something else before themselves, regardless of why or where or how or what. They were willing to put something else before themselves. And that in itself is, like, a big thing.
Okay. So you went back to school and got your degree. What was your degree in?
I call it a football degree, consumer affairs.
Hey, look, I tell my kids all the time, listen, just get a degree.
Yeah.
Especially you live in small towns like Alabama. Like there's some places in Alabama, you don't live in New York City. You don't need to go to Harvard.
Right.
You know, just get a degree. And once you get that 4-year degree, you know, you guaranteed a job. You know, it may not be the job you want, but you guarantee a job.
Yeah.
And they just like, as long as you have a 4-year degree, it could be in anything.
Yeah.
And so with that said, so you got your degree. That's a good thing. Did you get it at the University of Alabama?
Yeah.
Okay. So what $1 million question. What's Glen Coffee doing today?
Just working, man. I want to own a farm. I was at Alabama for a little bit. I guess kind of deciding if I wanted to be a coach or not. Mm-hmm. And I realized I didn't want to be one. There was a couple of things that I realized that I didn't want to do. And I needed like what I call slow time, downtime. And when I left there, I worked on this farm, just like organic, holistic, regenerative farm. And because I had been researching farms and living off the land for like years, reading a whole bunch of books. And when I did it, I realized that that's what I want to do. And so right now I'm just kind of preparing for that. I work 2 jobs right now. 2020 was probably the as far as knowledge is concerned, was probably the best year of my life, because it was the year that I decided I want to learn to work with my hands. Besides the farm was more like playing in soil type stuff. But as of right now, I can read a tape measure just like that. I can handle wood. You know, if I need to build something, I can build it. I just need the diagram. And so I guess what I'm up to right now is just building what I call a complete man.
You are happy, am I right?
I hate the word happy, because happy is an emotion. Happy is an emotion.
So you're content.
I'm content.
You're content. Yeah. Okay. So as long as you're content, hey, that's better than anything in the world.
Right.
Look at me, man. I'm not content. There's a lot of things I wish I could change. I wake up every day and I try to change them every day.
Yeah.
And then once I change something, I know it's like 20,000 more things I need to change. So that's my story right there. But real fast, I'm gonna ask you, Will, some questions. Just answer real fast.
Yeah.
I said flash. Answer real flash. Answer real fast. Everyone has an opinion on Nick Saban. What's your opinion on Nick Saban?
General.
What were some of the best? What was the main lesson you learned at Alabama?
If you want it, you got to go get it.
As you look at the team in the spring practice, who are some of the names on offense that you are really excited to see?
I can't lie, I don't even watch football. But I keep hearing about this quarterback. So I don't know. He better do something.
I hear you. I think we already answered this question, but I want to ask it again because I know what my favorite moment was. What was your favorite moment as an Alabama player?
My 40-something yard touchdown against Auburn.
That was a good one. I like that. That was that in 2007 or 2008?
8.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna make sure. I do remember a touchdown. I don't remember it was the game we won. Alabama won, or was it the year? But damn, Glen Coffee. I can't believe it. I got to talk to Glen Coffee. I mean, this is a highlight for me personally because I was a fan. And I got to say this, you're an inspiration to me because to me, you are what a definition of a real man is because you beat to your own drum. You do things what make you happy. And a lot of people in this world do not do that. And every day you wake up, you are content with your life because you make your life content. You don't whine, you don't complain, and you go out there and you get yours with hard work and dedication. And honestly, I look at you, somebody that I look up to, and I hope and I pray that one day I can meet that level of manhood that you're a member of the CTS, your family to us. Anytime you want to come back, please do so. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a special interview. Real fast, Glenn, do you have anything that you want to plug or anything?
Nah, I mean, you already said it, man. So many people live their lives in expectation of what they think other people want them to live it in. And you really can make your life a lot simpler if you truly do what you want to do and you aspire to do what you want to do, you know, but you got to put the effort in.
Hey, and ladies and gentlemen, that's the key to happiness right there. This has been an edition of the special interview. Glenn, stay on the line. Everybody else, till next time.